What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, good people? You know what time it is. You either get right or you get left. Hey, we got a special one for you tonight. We got the legendary John Abraham that's supposed to be coming into the cage right now. Tonight, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we definitely got you covered for a few things. So let's get to it.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
What's going on, good people? Hey, we got a good show lined up for you tonight. We're just waiting on Mr. Abraham to get to the building tonight to talk to us about his illustrious career. But before we get that thing started, man, I got Coach Brant in the building that's going to help me hold this thing down today. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, how you doing, historian? Good to see you. It's been a while.
Hey, man, I'm glad to see you again. I see that you're doing all right. Look like you done lost a couple of pounds, man, and shaved the beard. You going into your summertime look, man. What's going on?
52 is the new 25.
So you just going to flip the numbers around. I got you.
That's right. That's right.
So while we're waiting, we got one of Atlanta's greatest pass rushers to ever put on a Falcons helmet coming through tonight. Right now, we're just waiting on him to get in. How do you feel everything is going with this new team that's happening right now while we're waiting on Mr. Abraham to come through or whatnot?
I've enjoyed watching more than anything is Penix is stepping through the door and taking the lead. I love it. He's the little clips and the videos that you see that they're showing from OTAs and the little comment he said about Drake London and the relationship he's developed with those guys and Ray and Moody, and I love it. I think that you're going to see a lot of people just gravitate toward him, and hopefully we got our next franchise quarterback and our leader. That's what we've been lacking. So I'm looking forward to it.
I had a gentleman who I spoke with on X earlier today, better known as Twitter on the platform. He was speaking, he's a Texas fan. So he was like, well, y'all best football players, they've come out of Texas. Y'all got Bijan and then y'all drafted your first player ever. But let's be honest, man. I'm just going to sit back and call a spade a spade. Look, we've had some great players to come through there, but I got to be honest with you, man. The best players that we've had have come from other schools. Outside of that, look at Deion Sanders, Florida State. You look at Claude Humphrey, Tennessee State. Rest in peace to the legendary Hall of Famer. And we're going to have a future Hall of Famer coming through here if they do the right thing by this brother. Because you know what? You're a Tennessee Volunteer fan. I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. But I got a soft spot for South Carolina because my big cousin played there back in the mid-'80s with Sterling Sharp back in the day. His name's Sam Taylor. But, it was a guy who took it up to another level at South Carolina. by the name of Mr. John Abraham, who we got in the building tonight. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring this Falcons legend to you guys today. Future NFL Hall of Famer, the current leader in the Falcons franchise for sacks, and one of the greatest South Carolina Gamecocks to ever come out of that school. We got Mr. John Abraham in the building. What's going on, Big Abe?
What's going on, fellas, man? Thank y'all for having me. It's just good to be recognized, bro. I'm getting older, so the older you get, the less it seems like your name is being called.
Man, I'm gonna show you a little bit more of love that we do on this show. I know my man. Shout out to my boy Smitty Smith, Mr. Antoine Smitty Smith. My guy set this up for us, so I got to give a shout out to him. A1 95 North Sports. Definitely great guys. Y'all check out their content if you haven't done so. And also, had to put up the Predator poster for you that I created for you, my guy.
No, it was nice. It was nice. My homeboy seen it or something. He was like, "Bro, you seen this?" I was like, "Nah." Nice right there. And the older I get, if you pay attention, I got a picture of myself on my shirt from when I was in college and everything. On the back, I got a picture of me when I was like first. I'm starting to, I guess, get into enjoying what I've done in life. It took me a long time, and it's not bragging though. If you're telling your true story, now like this was literally like 24 years ago, and and I got the opportunity to graduate from South Carolina now, and it's just it just feels so good to finally be able to celebrate yourself, I guess you can say, and not feel bad about it. Because when I was coming up, the biggest thing was you're just an athlete. You're just this, you're just this. A lot of people used to pick on people in my position. And I know people like, "Oh man, nobody picked on you, man. You had money, you had this." No, it was tough going out sometime because you was getting prejudged every time you go someplace.
Now, one of the things I'm gonna bring up, look, we always salute folks who get it in, and I understand what you just accomplished because I did it 2 years ago, went back to school, graduated recently. I want to tell you congratulations, sir, because everybody starts, but everybody doesn't finish. So definitely appreciate you for getting that done and really showing the youth and many other people that you can live a whole nother life, but you can always come back and finish. So thank you for that, sir.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you too. Like you never know who be watching you, man. That's what people don't understand. It ain't got nothing to do with it's how smart you are, what kind of person you are. And this has really been the attribute that show that I'm more than just an athlete, because I was talking to somebody today, and I was telling them how I went from being an honor roll, AP, all those classes from 9th grade, and then 10th grade I just changed because it wasn't popular. I wanted to hang out with my crew, and I wanted to be able to do all this stuff. So being in all these AP classes and honor classes wasn't cool. So, being able to go back to school and consistently having A's in all my classes, it just makes me feel good, and especially when it comes to hard work, because there's so much hard work in anything you want to do. And this shows me like, dude, you could have done this when you was in your 20s. You just had a bad perception of yourself at the time. But, going back, especially being able to show my kids and even showing y'all don't know nothing about me. Y'all knew I was a hell of an athlete, and I'm going to co-sign on it now. But besides that, it was like, this guy probably dumb as a brick. And most people thought athletes were back in the day. And you got to be real. Like, even me, like, I'm an athlete, and I used to look at people like, this dude dumb as hell. And then now I see him talking on a podcast. I'm like, oh, he ain't really, his experiences in different situations. That's one thing you start to learn about people experiencing. Like, you can be around somebody that knows this so well. They can be like, I heard somebody say this, everyone's a genius in something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I mean, and as we said, man, that's one of those, that's a unique set to have. And, like I said, even in my own life, being a military vet and living that life, having to go do different things and having to get back to school a certain way. So I definitely understand that. So that's why I say, man, I tip my cap to you, because you could have just said, you know what, the hell with it. I could just do something else and just keep it moving. But for you to step back and to go through that process, and you finally were able to walk, that right there solidifies the intelligence, because, football players are far from dumb. I know that because I was one of them too. I just didn't make it as far as you did, sir. But the intelligence level you have to read a playbook, to understand sets, formations, and just to be able to literally just grasp it so quick at the blink of an eye says enough about most athletes in the first place in any sport. But getting to it, let's get to it. So you start playing high school football your senior year. You know, you talked about that in previous interviews or whatnot. You were a track and field star. What got you into football?
I've told this story so many times, man. It was literally my girlfriend having more accolades than me in the senior book. I was just like, man, because like we were together since like she was a freshman, I was a sophomore, and we started talking like the summer of like my ninth grade year, and we talked like my whole time I was in high school. But it was like that junior year, and I looked at the book, and I was like, you know, the end of the year, you get the book, and you looking like she had just like this. I had like track, basketball. I was like, dude, you're. I'm gonna go play some football, but also I always had a burn in it. And I tell people the story is that sometimes you have, even if doing this podcast, like maybe 10 years ago, you might have thought about it, but you visioned it. And I had a vision that I was going to do something like play sports in some kind of realm, and it ended up being with that. I was an average basketball player. I was an average track star. But at the end of the day, being in a small school, sometimes you don't have as many opportunities to work on stuff. You know, because a lot of times after school, I was going to help my mom. My mom was a kitchen lady. I would go help her clean the other schools. Because I went to Lamar High School, but I'm from Timminsville. I could have walked to Timminsville to go to school, but you know how the lines are and everything. So, and then for me, football, I didn't have to go work. So if I'm doing sports, I ain't had to work. So, you know, but it ended up being something I always loved. I think every kid loves, well, not every kid, I take it back. My daughter hates sports. She can't watch it, but she'll play. It's like totally crazy, but you know. And that's pretty much what happened with me, man.
No, that's what's up. And when you sit back and you think about it, and you were saying that you did it like that, the podcast game, man, I'll be honest with you, it just happened because I was upset because I got pulled off of another show that I will not mention. And I pretty much was going back and forth with the gentleman, not in a bad way, but just more so with factual information, and pulled me off. And that was how I got into it. And Coach Brandt can attest to it, and everybody else that's in the Birdcage crew. We all went through that one podcast that did that. But it's, you know, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, I appreciate that person giving me the motivation to start the Birdcage, because we are able to talk to great athletes like yourself.
No doubt, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, keep pushing, bro. Like I think the key to everything is those small steps. Stop trying to worry about how big it's going to be and enjoying the ride. Like that's what I do in life now. Like I'm learning piano now. I came into this big old wall today. Like, cause I was talking to my daughter about it. I was like, you know, sometimes when I'm doing good, it can go like I'm in one of the little pools. You know, the kids be in them little pools, and then when I start going good at something, it turns into an ocean. It gets so much bigger. Like when I really started, like when I was playing football at first, it was just like X's and O's, you know, tackle the quarterback, tackle this. Then I started learning. It was like a tight end does this, tackle does this, quarterback does this. This play means this. If he does this, so it went from being like this small compass to like big. Like I'm learning like all these falsettos and every other thing, how to do this fast, how to do this slow. Because you know, all I was like C D E F G, C D E F G, B F. That's all I was learning. So, and sometimes I used to get, I guess, frustrated, and you know, oh, I can't push past this wall. But now it's like once I get there, now like just keep working on it. You know, just keep working on it. Just like football, I couldn't use my left hand good sometimes. I had to keep getting that left hand stance, keep getting that left hand stance. Then, you know, 4 years then I'm in the league and I'm still working on that stance. And then by the time I was finished, like now it's just like I literally, if my body could take it, I can go back on the field and do the same thing. So I think that's something that, you know, with the podcast, with anything in life, don't neglect the small steps.
Amen. Coach?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Having to work your way into it, and things slow down for you, and you get a whole different perspective. By the way, I'm Coach Brandt Gaylor. I've never met you before. Big fan of yours. I lifelong Falcons fan, and I appreciate everything you did for the franchise and during your playing career, and you well deserved. I do believe you'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. But getting back to it, I've been out of coaching for a while, and I have another job. And I was talking to Ryan on the phone yesterday, and I went back up to the school I used to coach at, and got down on the field yesterday with some of my old coaching buddies, and was seeing it. And they have a really young quarterback that's really going to be an up and coming guy. And I was telling Ryan about him yesterday, just watching him. He's a freshman in high school, and this kid's already getting offers all over the place. And I'm just watching this kid develop and how he carries himself. And you can see where he's at compared to the seniors, and like what you were talking about with the piano and football. And it's amazing how you got to crawl before you walk. And I was watching it yesterday, and I was just thinking, this kid has no idea what he's doing right now, but his life's fixing to blossom right before his eyes, and it was that brought back some old memories being down on the field again yesterday.
Totally understand that.
Yeah.
So and speaking of memories or whatnot, you ended up going to choosing University of South Carolina, and you ended up playing for Coach Scott during that time where it was some lean years. But I get it. I have an older cousin that played for Coach Morris back in the day in the 80s with Coach Morris, and I've heard some stories. I just leave it like that. Shout out to my big cousin Sam Taylor. Taylor made bodies in Atlanta. Get your body right if you want to. He does personal training, by the way. But he always says it's a very unique place up in Columbia because he was recruited by a couple of places, and he said it kind of has a little bit of a trance on you. What made you stay home and choose University of South Carolina at that time?
Location. I mean, ain't no point in saying that I thought the school was great. I ain't knew nothing about football, man. I was a basketball guy. I had so many offers from basketball. I had a couple track. And honestly, I didn't even feel like I was good enough to go to South Carolina. I thought South Carolina was going to be too big of a school for me. So it's crazy because yesterday I ran into some people from South Carolina State down like where I live, and I had a conversation. I told them, I said, I wanted to come to South Carolina State, but they didn't offer me a scholarship. They offered me like a 1/4 scholarship from my freshman year, a half scholarship from my sophomore year, and like 3/4. He said by my senior year, and then they didn't even send their head coach. They sent their strength coach, and I was like, okay, yeah, don't tell them not to come back. Because this is when I had Clemson, Carolina. I already visited them, and then I guess State just came. I guess they kind of knew like they weren't gonna get me, but I wanted to go there. I wanted to go to a black school because I kind of grew up in the black area. So I was like, and this is a smaller school. I might can learn more here than going to a bigger school. Now predominantly black schools now are really like the HBCUs. They're really like people are going there. Like big players are going there now. But I was trying to do that then, but they just weren't offering. And I was just like, okay. But it also only played 1 year high school football, and maybe they felt like this is a big chance on a guy who only played. And we usually get guys who played 4 years. We're going to waste a scholarship because it's a smaller school. We got to know this guy's going to be good.
Man, and that was at the time Coach Willie Jeffries was around there, Hall of Fame coach. Shout out to Willie Jeffries. We support HBCUs on this show big time, by the way, just to give you a heads up on that. And you look at the lineage. South Carolina is the HBCU linebacker U and edge, and you would have fit right in. You look at it, Deacon Jones. That's before he ended up having that situation and going to Mississippi Valley State. Donnie Shell, Hall of Famer Harry Carson was a down lineman before he became a linebacker. So you would have fell right into that lineage. Robert Porsche, shout out to Mr. Porsche. You'd have fell into that lineage there, but you chose South Carolina. You go there. What was your experience like, and what pushed you to matriculate into one of the SEC's greatest pass rushers of all time? What motivated you to get to that point?
My biggest motivation, and I can honestly say that, was my father being such a shitty guy. Like, I just didn't want to follow those footsteps. And I know people I always say it was definitely my mom too. I wanted to take care of my family, but I just didn't want to. And that's why I'm kind of glad he wasn't in my life. A lot of people be like, "Oh, my dad wasn't there. That's why I was bad." I'm like, that don't even make sense. Like I had a terrible role model, so why would I be like that guy? You know, he was a drinker, all the stuff. Now, all the stuff I got in the league is kind of like I turned into him. But when I came to South Carolina, it was just like I don't want to hurt my mom at all. I don't want to do anything bad. She chose South Carolina over Clemson, so I went to South Carolina. When I got to South Carolina, I was like, you know what? And, you know, she didn't want me to be no mama's boy. She didn't want this all the stuff she telling me in my 40s now, because I was always asking her, like, Mom, we weren't really close when I was younger. Like, I had you, but you never used to do this for me. You never would do this. She like, because I didn't want you to be like your daddy. And it makes sense now, because I think if I would have followed his footsteps, if I would have, you know, sometimes role models are not great role models. I think my best role models were my cousin, Tori Joseph. He the one who played sports. He the one that lift weights. He the one that always liked watching basketball, but he was always like a little smaller than me, so he didn't get the advantage that I got. You know what I mean? When they see me walk on the basketball court, 6'4", oh, we got that guy. You know, he's about 5'10", 5, so they like, nah. But you know, he did everything possible to try to be a great athlete. So that was my biggest role model. So my thing was, and I never understood what black sheep meant till now. A black sheep don't mean that you're the bad part of the family. Black sheep seems that way. Black sheep just means that you stick out different. You have different goals. You're doing something, like when they look at your family, they'll see you. You know what I mean? So I take that and I wear that very strong now. I always thought black sheep meant that, you know, everybody hated you, you were doing bad, but you know, no, you just stick out different. You have different levels of what you think in life. And I honestly can tell, like, where I'm at now in life, what I've went through in life, I envisioned it all. I mean, sure, I didn't handle it right in a lot of situations because I never had. There's no guidebook to life. And I think that's what kids got to understand. You know, even if you have the best father in life, if you have somebody that tells you the perfect thing, you still got to go through it yourself. And I went through it myself. And for me, having to literally just tell myself, give myself gratification. Like I was talking to one of my friends last night, and I sent him a picture of where I grew up. And I said, this is where I grew up. This is where I live now. All the stuff that I've ever lost, where I'm at now will always trump where I was then. And I'm not trying to say it in a bad way. It's just where I grew up. Like, I ain't knocking my mom. I ain't knocking my grandfather. I ain't knocking nobody around me. So when people say they came from the dirt, they came from nothing, I can't say it because, you know, I had the influence of people around me that meant a lot. But sometimes you don't have those opportunities that I got.
You and I'm gonna pass this to Coach Brand, but I'll say this. I definitely understand that part about God, you know, putting you in certain positions, whatnot, with family. And, you know, you have to, you know, you can learn, as my granddaddy would say all the time. He said, boy, you can learn from a fool. You learn what not to do. You know what I'm saying? So even if you did have a shaky relationship, because some of us have those, you know, some of us had those shaky relationship with parents or whatnot all the way around. But like you said, there's no manual on life and nobody's perfect. But what you can do is, like you said, you applied it. And for those who might be going through something, that's the perfect example to understand. Sometimes you have to go through some things to get to this next level where Mr. Abraham was talking. Coach, what you got?
Much respect to your mom and your granddaddy. So I know exactly what she went through. I raised my son by myself, and sometimes there was resentment with my son. And I told him, I said, that ain't my job right now. We can be best friends when you get grown.
Right.
Saying I know exactly what your mama went through, and she did a fine job. So kudos to you and her. And that's great. I love it. And I've coached kids that came from situations like you did, and sometimes they know that's the ticket, you know. And sometimes God gives you that gift, and they take it to the next level. And sometimes it's not meant to be, and you wind up giving back by teaching people. And you know, it sounds like you're doing that now too, and that's great. Love it. Love seeing people give back and try to help other people.
You finished your career at South Carolina with 23 and a half sacks, and you're pretty much second on South Carolina's career list of sack leaders. Who is your favorite quarterback to sack back in the SEC?
Any one of them, man. You don't understand. Like I went 6-5, 5-6, 1-10, and 0-11. So most of our games were running games. We were back when it was running. Then it wasn't really a passing league like that. No, besides Peyton Manning, but they had Peyton Manning, then they had Jamal Lewis. So you was gonna get ran through. So if I was able to get a sack, I was just happy. You know what I mean? Like I think the most sacks I got in college was 7 in a year, and most people be like, well, what do you play D tackle or something in college? But you know, if you seen how many rushes I got so close, but people were just running down our damn throat. it was no kind of, it wasn't no like to say that I would end up going and like it was just crazy because I led my team in sacks all 4 years. Freshman year I had like 4 and I didn't even start. But that's when I saw I kind of like, and I'm not knocking anybody I played with. I'm like, this culture is not really a great culture because I'm looking at the seniors, I'm looking at the people above me, and I'm like, I'm better than these guys. And I'm not knocking them. Like, so, you know, you try to, like, I can be honest with myself now and say, no, you were pretty much good. You just didn't have knowledge of the game like that. And then my sophomore year, I got better. My junior year, I got my senior year, I was just like, yeah, I'm good. You know, my senior year is when everything clicked, and I'm like, man, I'm pretty dang good. You know what I'm saying? Because I moved from defensive end to outside linebacker. And when I moved to linebacker, that's when I knew that I was a good player because I understood football. Playing the end, like and it was playing the end when I was in college, more like in the 90s, it was more about aggressiveness. Like you didn't really see the finesse players like you see now. Like y'all are saying edge. Edge was created. Edge was created for skinny guys like me that they feel like couldn't play the run and stuff like that. So that's why they start calling us edges. I'm like, look, I've been a defensive end my whole life. They were like, yeah, he's not a defensive end. Defensive end are like 3-4 guys. That guy's an edge. And they changed the whole perspective. You see guys getting drafted as just edges. And me personally, I beat up on myself a lot. Well, I used to beat up on myself a lot because when I came in the league, I was an outside linebacker. And that was my position. I mean, I knew for a fact this position I'm going to be a star in this position. Herm Edwards came in and moved me to defensive end. And even though it's pretty much the same people think it is, when it comes to dropping, it's kind of like a quarterback and all you can do is hand off. He's a great quarterback and he might get 10 or 15, but we're not seeing the whole perspective. It's kind of like when before Mike Vick, we didn't have running quarterbacks. You can have Randall Cunningham, and we don't even know how amazing these guys could have been because they couldn't run like that. You know what I mean? We got to see them break out and run here. But think about that. And so I felt like me being I don't think y'all in the NFL got to see the real John Abraham. I think if I would have stayed in the 3-4 defense and played, think about it, my first year before I got hurt, I was like leading the team in sacks. Then my last year, I go to Arizona, move back to a 3-4 defense, make the Pro Bowl at 35, 11 and a half sacks. And I'm looking like, dude, think about I did this when I'm 22 or 23 or 24, you know. So it was a lot of stuff that I had regret for. But I think everything happened for a reason. Like even me not playing in the position that I want to play in, I still have Hall of Fame numbers, like easy Hall of Fame numbers. Not even I can't I try to make it look like no, maybe this, but I ain't gonna do it because of this. Now I'm kind of like trying to pat myself on the back. And you see the people around me. You have names around me that are Hall of Famers, and it's just my name sticking right here. It don't look right. Like I don't care if the NFL has their own little script of what's right or what's wrong, but if you see your name, I'm in top 5 of calls fumbles all time. I mean, and everybody around me except for number 1 is in the Hall of Fame now. Like it's not rational, y'all.
Well, I mean, look at it like this. It's just like Lester Hayes not being in the Hall of Fame. The man's got a ton of interceptions, and I'm sorry to the Deion Sanders fans out here, and I love Prime, and Prime is my guy, but let's be real. Prime got in before Lester, and that's BS right there. And I'm sorry. Y'all can sit back and look at the numbers. Lester had 14 picks in the season. The only other corner to ever do that was Dick Knight Train Lane, who's a Hall of Famer. And they both would knock your jockstrap loose. So the NFL has to do better about putting guys that should be in the Hall of Fame in, because there are many guys like yourself that have the numbers, but it's a popularity game. You know, Tommy Nobis, Mr. Falcon, should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. Jesse Tuggle, another one. So when you look at the history of this game and you look at guys that have sacrificed in that sense, you really see that there's a biasness when it comes to putting guys in. Roland Lawrence should be in the Hall of Fame too, another Falcon legendary corner. So unfortunately, you fall amongst the casualty of that. But we're not going to talk about the downtrodden. We're going to put on some positive spin before we get to talking about the young Falcons, because we want to talk about your legendary career as well. You get drafted by the Jets, first round pick, 13. You go to New York, out of all places, country boy going up to New York. And I live up here in the Northeast, so I definitely understand. What was it for you when you got to New York, your first round pick? What's the difference between the media and how they handle their players in the Northeast compared to down south?
I guess when I got to New York, it was a big room with a lot of people, and New York doesn't look to really big you up. New York looks to see how they can pick you apart. Everybody wants a story in New York. It's like, okay, he's a good player, but also I can say this: New York wants to see you win too. So when you gotta, if you get in trouble, if you do something bad, don't shy away from it. If you shy away, they're gonna keep picking you apart. So if you do something, they want to see the guy. Like they want, like, think about the names that came through New York. Lawrence Taylor. They have all these names. The whole Knicks team. This is the Knicks. Like the Knicks always was in trouble. But they love to see that because they love to see the good you do too. So they're okay with the bad stuff. But if you kind of like just let them take the narrative, they'll destroy you. Like, and I kind of did that when I was there. I kind of let them take the narrative compared to being friends with them after the situations, because. And that's when people, you're thinking about the Hall of Fame, it's really voted by the media. So if you're not a media friendly guy, if you're not like, like even you talking about Dion and talking about Jesse, like Jesse, you don't really see Jesse a lot. You didn't see Jesse doing the interviews for people or going to ESPN. Like, if they don't really know your name, you can easily get washed under the bus. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like why me now at 47, I'm trying to show my face more. People ask me to do podcasts. I want people to see it, and I want people to recognize, because it's literally the media and it's people seeing you consistent. I went to the draft, I went to the combine. I'm doing stuff with the NFL so people see it. Because think about it, people can be going around, and a lot of people come back like, "Dang, John, we ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you." I'm like, hey. And because I always felt like if you do your job, people will notice. That's not life anymore. That's literally just not life. You have to tell people like right now. No matter how much information coach has, does coach just sit back and wait for people to come see him? You're going to get washed under the bus, because Instagram is taking over stuff. Like, the media has taken over stuff. So if you want to get your name out, you gotta make that battle too. It's a new battle out here now. It's not just like TV now. Back in the day, it was just like trying to get on TV. Now it's like nobody ain't watching TV. Everybody, boom. I can just go here and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you got to stay on here as much as possible. Even the older guys, there are a lot of older guys that still got an opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame. They're going to have to. I saw Simeon Rice. Simeon was like, man, they want me to come out more. Like, you need to, bro. You got a championship from Tampa. You doing people don't see who you are. We got new names coming out every year. And then you got to realize, because they can see your name on that list, but just don't know who you are.
And when you speak on names or whatnot, you made a big impact in New York before you came to Atlanta. And folks, if you don't know these two names, you better know who they are. John Abraham set a franchise record with 4 sacks in the game, and he tied the likes of Hall of Famer Joe Klecko and also Mark Gastineau, two of the best pass rushers in the 80s. If you don't know, please do your homework on them. And Mark Gastineau got overshadowed because of LT, but those two were always battling for that title. When you were in New York and you're in a town that's known for legendary linebackers and edge rushers on these teams, such as the Sam Huffs, the Lawrence Taylors, the Carsons, the Gastineaus, guys of that sort, what did it mean to you when you had 4 sacks in the game and you did it against New Orleans, out of all teams, by the way?
The funny thing is, though, man, I didn't even care about none of that stuff when I was young. I just wanted to play football. I was enjoying being out there, man. I didn't even think about the Hall of Fame. I didn't think about it. Like, when I made the Pro Bowl, I didn't even know what the hell the Pro Bowl was. I'm like, oh, you made the Pro Bowl. I'm like, I'm thinking that, no, I didn't know anything about, like, I didn't care about awards, because how I was built, like, different, like, from being around people. And then I guess coming from South Carolina, we had a couple people that win awards here and there, but I didn't win a lot of awards there. But I still got picked, and I still picked 13. So I'm thinking like they're gonna see what I do on tape. You know what I mean? Because obviously, if you're on an 0-11 team and you go 13 over, you like, dude. You know, I got booed like I don't know what in New York, but I was like,
That's
yeah.
but that's the difference.
Yes,
And this is what we tell people, Big John. It's the difference, and this is what I mean. And a lot of Falcon fans get mad at me, but I'm one of the realest Falcon fans you'll meet when I talk about that. I'm one of the ones that's gonna cuss at you and I'm gonna boo at you. I'm gonna praise you when you do well, and I'm gonna pretty much break you down like a fraction when you mess up. That's just what it is. I'm not gonna coddle you if you're doing something, if you're messing up. Like, no, call it out.
But you get what I'm saying. The only problem I'm saying is they never watch film. They never watch film, and you can tell. They booed because they didn't know me. They didn't boo because they didn't like me. They boo because they just didn't know me. Like, who the hell is he?
They boo everybody in New York.
They wanted. Like New York is a flashy city. They want to get what they know. They know the Statue of Liberty. They know like the Empire. They know certain things. So they just never heard my name. So my name going there, they just boo because they watch film. If they were football guys, it would have made sense. Like watching this guy in college, oh my God, this guy's everywhere. But they booed me, and I was like, then like the same guy that he held up a sign like, who is that or something. It was I didn't get a tattoo on. I ended up running to the guy. You know, like the next year he was like, oh, sign over. I was the guy who had the sign. I was like, man, you got punched in your face. But I said, thank you for I had to be like, thank you for giving me that aggression in my head that I know I want to be great now. You don't need a little proof.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, I think you got me tickled. I love it. What was your relationship? So coming from South Carolina, when you did get to the Jets, who did you lean on the most to break you into the league? Because obviously you had a really good career with New York, but who brought you along? Who was your mentor at the Jets?
Well, man, it's funny because he was my mentor only for like a couple of years, and I wish I would have kind of not just listened to the off the field stuff. It was Brian Cox. Brian Cox was my guy when I first got in the league, and Brian Cox did it hard on and off the field. So I took his role like it's because people kept comparing me like we want you to be like Lawrence Taylor, and the stuff I heard about Lawrence Taylor, he partied hard and he played hard. The stuff when I met Brian Cox was, and Brian told me like I should have never got you in the drink because I didn't drink when I went to the league. I didn't drink. I didn't go out. I didn't do any of that stuff. So he told me, he was like, man, I should have eased up on you, Rook. I didn't know. And I said, don't worry about it, man. That's part of life. I ain't had no father. He was like a father and a brother figure to me because he was older. I heard how, and he was a nasty mug, and I wanted to be a nasty mug. I wanted to show people. I didn't talk much, but I wanted people to fear me when I got on the field. My nickname is Predator for a reason. So Brian and Sean Ellis and Lavernius Coles were like my two best friends.
That's a Tennessee Volunteer, Ryan.
Yeah,
he said
Tennessee.
But the most important name that he mentioned, no, it's not that Tennessee Volunteer.
Hey,
shout out to Duval County, baby. My second home, Lavernius Coles, Mr. Trouble. I know about him. That's my guy. Yeah, I know Trouble. I know him if I'm telling you the name Trouble.
You see, I got LC right there. That's my right hand man.
Yes, sir.
We used to go hard, but those were the guys. But looking back now, thinking about it, man, we were kids, bro. Like the stuff we did, like me, Sean, and Coles were like really tight. And looking back, we were kids, man. And we not saying we didn't have applicable people in the Jets. We had Curtis Martin, we had Chad, we had Vinny Testaverde, so we knew how to work.
Chad Pennington,
we used to know how to party though. We used to get it in. We got it in, man. We used to go so hard. But the reason why I think that us three went so hard, me, Coles, and Sean, and I'm not talking about in a bad way. We went hard because we came from hard backgrounds. Like if you hear about Sean's story, if you hear about
Sean's a South Carolina guy, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you hear about our stories, I think you'll understand more why we went so dang hard. It wasn't because it was a bad thing. It was just that when we finally made it, and all us were mama boys. And I'm not saying that we were under our moms like that, but all us was like by our moms, and all us got to come to New York together. All us country as hell. All us, you know, so we needed to enjoy ourselves. It was our time to finally just say, hey, I can relax. You know, Coles went through all that stuff in college. You know, I went through stuff. You know, Sean damn near died in a car accident. So it was like, people don't understand that. I understand childhood trauma now. And we didn't talk about it. We drank about it. Man, we made it, bro. We made it, man. We finally made it, bro. We used to go to practice. And we here now, man. All this work, man. Coles had to go through all this to get here. I lost 21 straight games. Sean got in a car accident. So we used to be out, man, because we was enjoying life, man. We were young. We got to take our moms to different places. We got to just relax. And I think, you know, I definitely, you know, if we could change stuff, we would now because we're older, you know, looking back. But, man, we went hard, man. We enjoyed ourselves. And I was blessed to be in those guys' presence, man. So I had so many positive guys around me. It was ridiculous.
And Lavernius went to my mom's old high school, and I can tell you,
Reebok.
Yes, sir, Reebok High School, them Trojans. Look, I can't say what my mascot is because it's a rival to my team that I love in the NFL, and they got the colors of the team that I also hate in college. So I can't say that. But my mom will tell you up front, like, Lavernius, when we were back, Lavernius would give back to us. We go, and you know, I'm originally from Atlanta, but grew up in Jax. Man, we would be at the parks running. Coles would be there during the summertime running routes with us or teaching us different things. See, this is the stuff that people don't talk about that guys do. Everybody knew about the trouble that he got in, but he was called trouble a long time ago, way before then. But and you know, to hear you talk about him and to see where he is now, you know, it's a beautiful thing. But getting to your days in Atlanta, shout out to Lavernius Coles, by the way, and Mr. Sean Ellis. Thank y'all for playing a good part in Mr. Abraham's life. With you getting to Atlanta, coming from New York, coming from Herm Edwards to now you're coming to Atlanta to a whole different environment or whatnot. What was the culture change for you, and what was the locker room like when you got here, and what were some things that you looked to try to build on when you got to Atlanta?
When I got to Atlanta, I was appreciated. And it sounds bad, though. When I was in New York, I never felt appreciated, man. Like, it's no matter what I did, because I got injured and I got a DUI when I was younger. And this is like, everybody just turned on me. Not like my boys, not like Sean, not like Lavernius, but it was just like even the media was, and then I found out like people in the organization was telling the media stuff that I was doing, and I'm looking like, man, come on, man, how you gonna live like this, man? It was just tough. Because after I left, you know, I had a pretty good rapport with some of the media people, and they were like, well, we couldn't tell you at the time, but you know, so and so was telling all y'all business, and I was like, what? Because I was wondering, like, me and the strength coach getting in an argument, or we getting in a fight, and the media know about it. That's not cool. And I'm like, how they know about it? Because, you know, we don't snitch in the locker room. You know how it is, bro. Anybody play, coach, you know, like, if you got into it with one of your players, how we was back in the day. Like, like now, everybody just running to social media and tell, like,
I'm older. I'm actually older than you are, so I know exactly.
Yeah. So, like, when I got that feeling that I was not relevant there, you know, it's hard to. Let's say if you're doing the most, and you was just talking about the little situation you was in about the other show you was on, and if you don't feel appreciated, no matter how much love, no matter how much effort, like you start feeling like I'm blowing my life because I'm giving all this effort, and it's like, oh, you need to do this more, you need more of this, you need more of this. I'm like, dude, I'm out here practicing like I'm playing every day. I'm doing all this trying to make you feel comfortable to have me to stay here. And you just pushing me away. Like everything I'm doing, like I go out here, I made the Pro Bowl, and I had coaches. I had two coaches come to me. One of the coaches, a primary coach. Oh, you got lucky again. I'm like, how your coach tell you get lucky? I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here working my butt off. I might have didn't do it how you want me to do it. I get that, but don't say I'm getting lucky. I'm like, I was balling, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it was just hard to come to work sometimes. And then then coming to work and losing. Buddy. I'm like, whatever you doing ain't working, cuz I did this in college. Like, whatever you doing ain't working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Coach, what you got?
Coming from, like, you played for Brad Scott, correct?
I was on a team. I ain't played for him though. I was on a team. I was on a team he coached, man. Don't say I played for him.
Well,
I played for Mike Smith.
Yeah.
That was one guy I played for. I played for
But,
Bruce Arians. I played for him.
that's what I'm talking about. So the coaching style that you went from South Carolina and then coming in to New York, how big of a change was it? Getting your body ready and the mental aspect and everything, and having to deal with the media, and you're getting paid to do this for a living now. I mean, there's major expectations on you. And how did you adapt to that? I know your play spoke for itself, but what kind of toll did it take on you mentally, and how did you overcome that? Obviously, you were successful with it. So
It was easier for me because I had so much stress outside of being on the field. The field was my haven. The field was where I could have fun. The field is where I could show people that I was a good person. I was a very quiet person. I didn't talk a lot. So, and all my teammates, we used to go out and drink. They used to go to clubs. They used to, have their own little stuff going. I was in my room. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do a lot in college at all. So for me, not have to worry about class no more, not have to worry about getting there for my family, not have to worry about this. Like some people say it got harder in the league. For me, it was like, this is easy. And when I was in college, we had 100-some people on the team. So I was competing with way more people. I was competing with like 8 or 9 people. When I got to the league, it was on like 4 ends. I'm like, I know I'm better than these 3. So for me, the pressure, and then I didn't have to worry about getting hurt no more. I didn't have to worry about, failing the class. So for me, it slimmed down so much. It slimmed down like it went from, and I was like, man, this is easy. All I got to do is just run around all day. So for me, it was different. But only thing that hurt me about the league is I had the opportunity. If Al Grove would have stayed in New York, y'all probably could have got to see the great John Abraham, the greatest of John Abraham, because I would have played outside linebacker my whole career. Al Grove was under the Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells was there. I had Al Grove there. I had Mo Carthon. Like the people we had was legendary on the Jets team. And I only got 1 year to experience that. So people don't understand how when you see these guys, go through the mental stuff. Think about it. I had to do that for 6 years of just mentally not wanting to be there. And not saying I didn't want to play football. It was just like, this ain't my right fit. I'm still gonna ball though, but it's kind of like if you a guy go from a tight end to defensive end, or a guy go from a receiver, because a lot of back in the day it was more like black quarterbacks. Oh, you want to play tight end or receiver?
Yep.
Like think about how that feels. Even though they might go out there and ball out, like I had a great career. Don't get it twisted, but I didn't get to play the position I wanted to play. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what I'm saying. I didn't get to play. When I got to play in Arizona. And they got me to play the outside linebacker. Man, I was out there running like a chicken with his head cut off. No pun intended, Gamecock. But I was in there running around like damn fool. And I got the opportunity to finally play, but it was like 35. I said I'm 35, and I finally got the chance to play my position I want to play. I went out there like it was every play was my last play, like which I did every play, but like this was different. Like this was like comfortable. Like my coach, I used to be like, just trying to learn as much as I was trying to put 14 years of football into 1 year and trying to learn everything. Like, tell me this. What does that mean when the running back does this? What kind of thing is this? This is pink. This is green. This is okay. Cool. The drop route is this. Okay, I was trying to get everything because I want to show people this is what the Abraham that y'all should have seen for my whole career. So I did get the opportunity, a flash of what I really wanted, and it hurt me more than it helped me though. Because usually it should have helped me. I should have been like, yay, but I was like, dang, this is what you're supposed to be doing your whole career. You're supposed to did this in New York. You're supposed to did this for the Falcons. But I really feel like if I stayed in that 3-4, I would have never left the Jets. I just think that I think because having Bill Parcells, I would have had somebody to talk to because I didn't know how to handle depression. I didn't even know what depression was. Black people didn't have depression back in the day. It was just like you're having a bad day, you're gonna go get drunk. Let's go get drunk, man. Oh, some people smoke weed. I'll go smoke weed. There are a lot of guys that could have been in the NFL now if they let them smoke weed. You think about Ricky Williams' career. You think about a lot of guys that, because even like Julian Peterson told me, he was like, I supposed to went to New York, but I got caught with a test, so I ended up dropping to San Francisco. I said, well, I was going to go to San Francisco. It's just like, if you look at the realm of things, you'll see so many guys. And I don't smoke anything, but I understand the concept. Like these guys ain't hurt nobody. They doing it. If you got a guy that's doing like this, and you can get them like this, and it ain't hurting them,
Yeah.
I can't be mad at that. But you just think about it. Everybody know that a player, everybody, all three of us know a player that we can name right now. If you could have let that guy smoke, he would have been one of these guys you've been talking about right now.
You ain't
I
never
played.
wrong.
I played with some of them. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Amen. Played with a few of them, so I definitely understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something about mental health, and we're gonna get back to the Falcons. We're gonna get back to his Falcons career, Falcons fans. But this is something that we do have to ask because it's damn sure important, and I don't give a damn how you feel about it anyway. I'm asking.
This is the most important part of the show right here, in my opinion. I
Yes.
mean, with you,
So,
this is important.
so
Please.
with you being a mental health advocate, me being a vet, and there's a lot of vets that's in the chat, by the way, too. And then we got some that's, that's part of the magnificent birdcage crew or whatnot. You speak on mental health. What's your role? What is your role with being a mental health advocate now? And how have you gotten through some of the situations that you've gotten through? And for those that's battling mental health, how do you feel as if you're an example for them to just follow suit and not give up?
Do y'all believe in like bad never stops? Like now in my life, I believe bad never stops. I can take it a different way though. Like I still have bad dreams. I still have like suicidal thoughts, but I've learned how to I guess navigate around it. And I think a lot of us, instead of indulging in it, you have to learn how to navigate around it. You have to find a peaceful place in your mind. And my peaceful place now is I'm playing football again. And it sounds stupid, but this is my new football. Like my playbook, this is part of my playbook. Like when I'm watching film, this is me watching film right now. Talking to y'all, this is my playbook. Having things to talk to stuff about. This is my new locker room. So when I went to a place called APN in Colorado, I went there 3 times in like when I first started this process on my mental health. It was tough because it was another situation I never handled. And I always handled so many situations by myself, and it was kind of like I need help, but I ain't knew how to ask for help. So the 10 years or the years before that, I didn't know how to ask for help because I never did. Sure, when I got hurt, you had to go to the trainer and this, and this, but I had to become my own trainer now. I had to become my own coach. I had to become my own. So the biggest part was believing that you can get better. Like everybody has maybe had a broken bone. Everybody had, but see, all that stuff was natural. So if you broke a bone, they already knew it's gonna be 6 weeks. With mental health, it ain't no time schedule. It ain't like, okay, you can go to like you'll see people go to rehab and think they're healed. No,
It's hard to fix what you can't see.
Yes, you got to keep doing it. It's got to be a daily thing. Like for me, like when people ask me to do podcasts now, it's not because I'm trying to be like just I want everybody. I want to talk. I want to be around people. I don't have a lot of people come in my house no more because it's not comfortable like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Same
drink.
here.
So, yeah, I don't drink and I don't do a lot of things. So for me, you got to find. And I'm still looking for my it, but I'm discovering that there's so many other things that you can learn on the way to your it. You don't have to literally like people ask you when you're done, what are you gonna do now? I don't know. Like it's okay to not know, but it's not okay to not practice other things. It's not okay not to participate in this. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't go to a lot of Falcon stuff for years because it hurt too much to remember that last game and getting cut. I couldn't go. You know what I mean? I said things I didn't mean. I was talking trash about Matt Ryan. I fucking love Matt Ryan. Sorry for cursing, but I love him. But it was just like my mind. I couldn't get over things in my mind. And if you're gonna live your life regretfully, if you're gonna live your life in the past, you're gonna live your life thinking that you can't get better, you will always be that way. And this is something I live by now. And this it has to do with money when I'm talking to young people, but this has to do with grown people. Let them call you broke until somebody tells you broke. Because people don't understand that. Because you might go out there and not spend as much money here. First thing a woman or a man or somebody might do, so and so broke now. Okay, go to the financial guy. And what did he say? Man, you still got millions in the bank. Oh man, he broke now. He ain't doing this. I said, so I tell my friends, I said the biggest thing is just let people call you broke. Like let them call you stupid, let them call you crazy. Yeah. You just keep working, man. Until you go to a doctor, until you go to someplace and somebody can tell you this is you. Just keep living your life and keep being who you want to be, man. Because trust me, there's so much negative out here today. There's so much stuff that you can pick up from other people that will discourage you from being the person you are. Now, I'm not saying be delusional, because there are a lot of delusional people here with this internet. But I'm saying just be real with yourself and understand that you're getting better every day. Like I tell people now, if you're blaming the stuff you're doing on mental health, I can't really mess with you now, because you're not trying to get better. Now, if I see you going to a therapist, if I see you doing this, because there are a lot of people out here, everybody know one, I know both of y'all know one, that they might say, oh, well, you know, I had PTSD, that's why I do this. What are you doing to help that PTSD?
Right.
What are you doing to help your mental health? When you want to talk to that girl, you went and bought her a drink. You went and took her out to eat. You went and did all this, and you finally got it right? You finally dating her now. So do the same thing with life. When you want something in life, whether it's CBT, DBT, find something. Find your niche. Don't keep blaming, because I got tired of blaming. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got a DUI. Oh, I did this. Oh, I cussed this person out, man. Okay, John, when are you going to handle this? This is not who you want to be. This is not your list. This is not on your list to be like this. And I think if people just sit there and continue to stay, it ain't gonna be good. Like, I ain't saying that. I don't know how tough people have it. I know how tough I have, and I said I'm gonna try to stop talking about it so much, because I feel like I'm like talking about myself too much, but also
people need to hear it. Continue to talk about it, my brother. Because look,
it's okay to be wrong too now. Like, you know, I okay. The reason why I never tried piano is because I feel like I wasn't gonna be great at it. I don't believe in that no more. Like, playing 10 minutes a day, playing 30 minutes a day, I'm still better than about 90% of the people who ain't doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I started juggling, I did sign language, and I don't have to be great at everything I do, but it'll be a disservice if I didn't try. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be a disservice. Like even doing the podcast, I didn't never want to do a podcast before. My first podcast was with Takeo Spikes and Tootin' Reyes. This was my first podcast ever. And I
watched it. It was a good episode.
That was my first time on, and because I was all scared about what people was gonna think of me, but I had to stop thinking people were looking at me. I said I had to free myself, because I mentally felt like everybody already knew anyway. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna talk about it. Like, y'all just tell me, because they came to me because they ain't saw me in so long. They were like, bro, we ain't seen you so long, man. You gotta come to the show. I'm like, all right. He said, you sure? Like, bro, we know you don't really do it. I was like, man, I'm coming, because I needed to free myself. And I think a lot of us sit in it compared to like talking to people. I had to talk to my mom. You heard I talked about it on the podcast. I had to talk to my mom.
Yep.
There was one word in my life that changed my life, and my mom don't use that word no more. And the crazy thing is, she just called me a mistake. I was 43 years old. She called me a mistake, and I was like, wow, I was hearing this my whole life, and I didn't even know it was a trigger. And I talked to her about it. But my mom is like, trust me, my mom is one of the most loving people ever. She don't ever talk about people in a mean way directly. Like, she never was trying to hurt me. But when she said it that day, me learning about childhood trauma, I was like, oh yeah, that's why I was never want to get in trouble. That's why I always try to be the perfect kid, because I thought I was a mistake. I'm the reason why she going through all this. I'm the reason why we broke. I'm the reason why this ain't happening. I'm the reason why she can't have a fulfilled for life. It's me. So my whole life I went through that. You know what I mean? I literally said, so my kid's a mistake. You know, this is a mistake. So it took a lot out of me. But that one word is a word we don't use now. My kids were not planned, but they'll never be a mistake to me. I've never said that. I've never said that. I love my kids to death. And, you know, some things you go through makes you a stronger parent, makes you a stronger coach, or makes you a stronger podcaster.
You know, it's a tough thing to hear. You know, I'm not gonna put too much out there, but I had something similar like that with a parent. I'm not gonna say who. Really can't put that too out there. But I was told that after I got injured when I was in high school, you know, and I lost an opportunity to go to college out of high school, and I had to play semi-pro for my coach that's in the chat right now that tried to give me an opportunity. So when you hear that, and it wasn't, you know, when you hear that or whatnot, it's tough. But, you know, I'm not going to say which parent it was, because definitely doesn't matter at this point. But it motivated me to say, you know what, the hell with it. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. and I had my support system. I had a support system. So, and it didn't deter anything. So when you said that really hit home for me, because that was a hard pill to swallow. I just say that, bro. And that was somebody that I looked up to and was trying to gain the approval of, but it just didn't happen that way. So when you say that not too many people strike nerves with me when they say stuff like that. So I definitely understand what you mean, Mr. Abraham. But
yeah, no question. Man.
Hey, and for everybody out there too, young kids that are listening, adults, I consider Ryan my brother. Tell everybody you love them, man. Let them know. I mean, it's stand up and let them know you're thinking about them, and that hey, sometimes you just need to listen. Be a sounding board for somebody. It's okay to talk. One of the guys you played against, Mr. Abraham, Freddie Maggart from Kentucky, the quarterback you played against him. I'm friends with Freddie. He actually he might have been a little bit older than you.
Maggart, Freddie came out. Freddie was out right before John got in.
Right before he got
in.
He's my age, but he's struggling with some stuff, and he was on KSR radio, sports radio, and he had to step away from it, and came out and and that's. I have one of my cousins that played for the Cincinnati Bengals that's struggling with it. Stan Fritz still has a rookie touchdown record, and his brother played at Vanderbilt, linebacker. Steve, same thing. I see what they're going through. I played football and baseball in college, and thank goodness I'm all right. I mean, in my head, but you don't know. I mean, you gotta talk and let people know what's going on.
I would tell you and anyone else, which I'm doing now. Like I have days, man. Like my therapist, she probably hates me but love me at the same time, because all this positive I'm talking to now, when I'm with her, is more like, man, I don't know why I hate myself today. I don't know why I can't talk to this person. Man, I'm nervous. I got this podcast. It's gonna do a run. She was like, John, stop. And I have a terrible thing of saying sorry too much. And she said, look, you have a lot of stuff in your past, because you apologize about stuff you shouldn't. You made a mistake. You did this. Like, I'm like, I don't know, but I just always say I'm sorry. And I don't know if it's because I was called a mistake, but I always say that. So people see me in public and they feel like, oh, well, this is no, I still have I still have a lot of stuff. I still have things that football has done to me, physically, some stuff. Physically, I look at that basketball rim now and say, yeah, you can't touch that no more. There are a lot of things that, we be looking at stuff. I sit there and look at my daughters play and stuff, and I'm like, I can't really play with them like I want to. I have a big fear of getting hit in the head again and going back to being really bad concussed like I was, because I've worked so hard. It's literally keep working on it and trying to learn new stuff. Because, I'll run into old players and like, man, we good to see you again, man. You're doing so well. And some people I don't even know. I just don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or I let people talk enough so I get to know them. Like when I first met Smitty, I didn't know I already knew Smitty. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking like the same Smitty we talking about that they hook you up on this show. When I first met, I didn't know I knew him. But I didn't know we met before, and then we talked a little about it. Then I kind of got a little something back, but I don't try to shy away from it now. I try to walk into the light. I try to walk into people I haven't seen in a long time, and hopefully get something good going, or we can have a conversation, and I get to know, like, this is helping me. This is the biggest medication that people don't understand. Being able to talk to people that understand football. Like y'all might tell me something about me that I don't remember. Like I remember somebody was talking about the 2012 season. I don't remember anything from that season. I don't remember anything.
I was at the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, see, I don't remember a lot of the stuff. I know what
Wait a
happened.
minute, hold up. First off, y'all not gonna mention that because I was stationed in Portsmouth, New Hampshire at the time, and I lost $500 on that game. I don't want to talk about that. Do not mention that game. That's something, John. I wish I had your memory, but I lost it to a shipmate on that ship, and he took my money and treated the whole ship to drinks. So the ship was drinking on me. So I'm still pissed about that.
That's funny.
This is therapy for me for you to say that.
Yeah, but you know what I do is I start watching. I watch old football games now. I recently watched 2000. No, I'm lying. It was 1999 when I played Georgia, and that was the game that. And I didn't even notice. I was just going back trying to watch old stuff because I'm trying to pick. It helps my memory sometimes. Like even with my kids, they'll send me pictures from the past. My mom will send me stuff, and it'll help my memory. Or I can make a new dialogue for that memory. So I watched the game, and this is the game that really put me on the map as a football player. Like people started paying attention after that Georgia game. We played Georgia. They had Quincy Carter. They had like Hines was already gone, but it was like it was a great team, and I just balled out. I blocked the kick, recovered the fumble, called the fumble. It was just like I was everywhere, and I was like, wow. And to me, I didn't even remember anything about that game, but watching it, I was like, wow. So I try to post old photos on my Instagram now, or old videos, because it helps me with my memory. And then sometimes my old teammates say, hey, you remember when before that game this happened? Because you got to understand, sometimes you are the main character in other people's story. That's what's big. Like, we see ourselves like a certain way. Coach, there's somebody out there right now that has a story about you that you didn't even know. Like, Coach, you remember you did this? You're going to be like, nah. Oh, yeah. It could be something, because what it is, we get so, being a coach, being a given person, you give so much, you don't even realize you're helping anymore. You get so used to giving, like, oh, you. And I'm not just talking about like monetary. I'm talking about you might give somebody a great statement and don't even know it's great. But then you have a player come back and say, hey, Coach, you remember you told me this? And it could be years later. That always kept me focused on this. So that's the big thing. We got to keep giving, man.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll get back. We're gonna get back to the football for the fans out here, because the main thing we needed to talk about was their mental health. I needed to get that off my chest because I've been holding that in since 2012, and it hurt my feelings. I was mad. I'm not even gonna lie to you, John. I can talk about it now because I'm out of the military. So it's a lot of stuff that I try not to remember. Some stuff I don't remember, and I go to a therapist as well for my mental health. I don't talk about some things like some of my fellow folks. And, I'll say this, but I remember beating the hell out of him in the paint locker. Made me feel a lot better. I'm just going to be honest with you, that he was a 49er fan.
I got my get back.
Oh, that was my get back right there. And when I say I look, I gave him my money, but I beat him like he owed me money. I can talk about it now because
all the above, baby. All the above.
Hey, but you know what? See, my thing was, you ain't gonna look, you already done got my money, but you ain't gonna trash my Falcons. That ain't happening. We don't do that. See, I'm a different type of Falcon fan. I'm a dog fan first, support my HBCUs all day. But see, I'm that Falcon fan that don't mind being, I'm the Southern, like, put it this way. You know how Eagle fans are. They don't mind fighting anybody. I'm one of those. That's why I don't go to games like that. That's why I stay in the cut. And I do my thing. I go to games here and there, but at that time, I was a lot younger at that time, and I still had a lot of, as the old people say, you had salt and vinegar in your veins, as they would say. And I did not mind putting hands on folks back in the day. Anybody
can get it.
Hey, you done took my $500 and you mouthing off on the ship about it or whatnot. I had to stuff them in the locker one good time, but had to, man. My team couldn't do it, so I did it for my team. I got some kind of retribution. But getting back to the Falcons or whatnot, we see an unlimited amount of success during your career with the Atlanta Falcons, going back and forth with going to the playoffs consistently with Matt Ryan under him, you guys playing Michael Turner, and, shout out to Eric Weems, Bethune-Cookman alum. Just so much talent. Roddy White, a young Julio Jones at the time, and these guys are coming in. Tony Gonzalez was doing his thing. When you look at that run you guys went on for these playoffs, did you ever in your mind have a doubt that y'all weren't going to win a championship?
I only had a doubt when I hurt my ankle in that last game. Like the last game that didn't even count. It just felt like my whole career was like that. Like my rookie year, I was balling. I felt like I could have got rookie of the year. I got hurt after 6 games. I was leading the league in sacks. My 4th year in the league, end up LCL out of nowhere. Just had an LCL. I don't even know how. No contact. I'm hitting the guy. I put my hands down. LCL pop. I'm like, and I was leading leagues. Like they already said that he's probably going to be the MVP this year. And I'm like, dang, My first game here, first game coming to the Falcons, 2 sacks, 2 calls, fumbles, about 6 tackles for loss, just balling out of control. If you ever get a chance, just look at Carolina '06 and Abraham when I got here. Man, when I said balled out. So I'm thinking like, then I got hurt. The end of the game, they put me back in the game. We up like 13 points. Mike didn't get a first down. Mike didn't get a first down or something like that. So even had to come back on the field. I got the tape off. I'm thinking that, I'm good. They like, hey, we need somebody else in the game. I'm like, man, y'all better get all right. They just paid me $45 million. I'm like, cool, I'm going out there. I went out there and tore my groin, the groin injury that has been bothering me for like the whole time I was in New York. I tore my groin. So then it was like, so then the process was just kept going. So then I get to 2012, we get Matt Ryan, get Julio, we get everything. Everything that we needed was perfect. You know what I'm saying? We got the cornerbacks I needed. Everything in 2012 for me. I think the 2012 team was better than the 2016 team. I'm just saying it because I was on that team. I'm saying because I was on that team. We had a young Julio, young Matt, and I said this on Instagram the other day. If I would have been healthy through them playoffs, y'all wouldn't have to worry about pass rush. You wouldn't have to worry about none of that because when I left the game, it was like the pass rush wasn't there. So we scraped by 2 teams. We got past Seattle, cool. Then we got to San Francisco, and I still wasn't healthy, but I was trying to be out there. I watched the film finally. I was on the ground so much. I had to stop watching it because I was like, dude, I'm still out here. I said, dang, nothing I could have did. And I had to give myself grace, like, bro, there ain't nothing you could have did, bro. Like, you was out there, you got hurt, you had a high ankle sprain, you turned the corner like a gymnast. There's nothing I could have did, man. Like, I got treatment the whole time. I tried to do everything I could to get back, man. And then, being up 17 points, I really thought we had it. And then the second half, I don't know what was going on. I don't know why we took our foot off the gas, and it was just like,
Lord,
I can't really save us this time. I can't go out there and get a sack. I can't do this. So it was a tough thing. And then to be cut after that, feeling that I deserved another chance to fight because y'all made me get hurt in this game because y'all wanted to do this, and then you're gonna cut me like I was the problem that we didn't win the San Francisco game, but you put me in the opportunity to get hurt. Like, so I felt it was so much pain, man. I haven't had that much pain in a long time, just mental pain. And then at the time I was raising my nephew too. So to get cut and have to move was like, and y'all know I just adopted my nephew. So it was like all kind of stuff was just coming in my head. I never hated the Falcons. I hated the situations, man. That what people don't understand. Like I don't try to hate people, but I hate how people act. You know what I'm saying? So it was just the timing of that situation. Because if I knew that they was gonna cut me after that year, I could have went ahead and went to Tennessee and went to another team and probably still profited from my skills. You know what I'm saying? I took the worst deal in life. I took like a 3-year deal for like $3 million a year. I was making way more than that, but I was like, nah. I just see this team being it, and we were that, and not having the opportunity to play in it. Like not having the opportunity to get that, because I knew if I made it, all this Hall of Fame thing wouldn't have even been. Because I would have been a part of the first Hall of Fame Falcons team. That's Hall of Fame. Matt Ryan. Everybody saying Matt Ryan, should he be a Hall of Famer? We win that game, he's in the Hall of Fame. And then I could have retired in 2012. Mike Smith would have continued to have his job, and in 2016 they probably been right back at it, and they would have won that game. That's how I see it. I think there's a butterfly effect because you got to understand because we were a good team then, but all the stuff happened, and then we end up being so. 2016 would probably been different too. That probably been the second Super Bowl they win. I know I'm overthinking, but that's just how.
No, you're not. You're not overthinking because that 2012 team.
I was going to the Super Bowl to watch, and
exactly. I'm gonna tell you just how it was gonna be. I was gonna find a way because I was supposed to be going to A school at that time, heading out to Cali. I was gonna put in my leave time, and wherever that Super Bowl was that year, guess what? I was gonna be right down in New Orleans, sitting down there watching y'all boys knock off the Ravens and send Ray Lewis to retirement.
Bro, I had some Kobe's, man. I had some special made Kobe's, man, black and red with 55 on them for the Super Bowl. I had all that stuff. I'm talking about there was some Kobe's. I had them already. I had everything. I said, I know we going. I had that jump when the season started. We was winning so good. I said, man, they can't stop us. Then that game, I was just like, man, then we won, and then it was like.
That was still pass interference on that fourth down. I don't care what they say.
Pass interference, no problem.
Man, you know darn well the 49ers are a darling of the NFL. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt. And the same man who got pass interference in that game got cooked by Mr. Jacoby Ford. Rest in peace to HBCU legend. Well, he was at LSU first, then he transferred to Lane College and did his thing out there. So shout out to Mr. Ford. But let's get to this here before we let you go or whatnot. Just a few more things. Now, in Atlanta history, I got to throw this out here now. You are officially, let me make sure I say this correctly, officially the all-time sack leader with 68.5. But unofficially, the legendary Claude Humphrey has 99.5 sacks.
Easy.
And I'm not disrespecting because you worked your ass off to get to that point. But the problem I got with the NFL is this. You got a lot of guys who put up numbers like that, and they were dominating during the time like Mr. Humphrey was when the knees was free game back in the day.
Right.
99.5 sacks with this organization, and then you surpass another great pass rusher with Chuck Smith, and you're right there with Mr. Humphrey. How does it feel for Falcons fans? I mean, when Falcon fans come up to you and you're in the upper echelon of two other great pass rushers, and you're considered a legend with those guys, and the one that gets forgotten about is Claude Humphrey, unfortunately, and he's got a gold jacket.
Well, me personally, I just always felt like Atlanta was home, and that's what it feels like to me. I don't feel like people are fans no more because even when I came here, it just felt like home. And I think people don't understand. Well, you do understand now. You got a podcast. You get it. Like when people come and say good job, you might not know who it is, but you just feel like I'm a regular dude, man. I get to do what I want to do for a living, so it ain't really nothing spectacular. Like I have people like, oh, John, we miss you, man. Like you still can do this. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it, man. But it don't make me feel like what I did as a football player. It make me feel like as a person, like people can. I'm a person that people can come up to and say something to. Like for me, that's a lot. Like I don't need to be like, oh, he did it. Nah, it's just comfortable. Like Atlanta just always felt like home, man. Atlanta, I still live here now. I walk around. I don't need no security. I don't need all this. When you do something good in Atlanta looks out for you. Like you can, if you do something and the people represent and you do certain things, you don't need no security because they want to make sure that you walk around happy. Like, that's one thing. Like in New York, it wasn't really like that. They didn't really care. It was always like somebody trying to take advantage of you. Atlanta seems to have a different perspective on the people they feel like stars. Like you can see Julio Jones walking down the street, nobody ain't gonna bother him. You can see Roddy White walking down the street. Nobody, Matt Ryan, if he wanted to, he can walk right down the street. Ain't nobody gonna mess with him because they know what they did for this city. And so that's the kind of respect Atlanta gets when you do the right things here. Like they just love you here, man. Like anywhere you go, if they know who you are, it ain't like they're gonna try to get real crazy. But hey, come on in, man. You good? Yeah.
Can I ask you to do me a favor, please? Will you please go get Walker and Pierce and be their mentor and teach them how to we need those two young bucks to step up.
Agreed.
Please. I need you to do that.
The funny thing is I knew Raheem since 2000 when he was with the Jets. I was with the Jets also. So I talked to Raheem, and I'm definitely gonna try to get out there and speak to him and try to see if I can help, man. Like my thing is I ain't trying to be no coach. But I will try to like talk to the young guys, and I will try to tell them if they need any help. Like one thing I think that anybody can ask, like whether it's the Jets, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Gamecocks, if they need me, just call me. Like I ain't hard to find. If you need anything from me, and I ain't trying to get no big old check unless I'm staying a week or two, I might get a check. If you want me to come for a day, if you want me to come to the day to talk to somebody, I owe people a lot, man. I owe people, and not because of what they did for me. I owe people the John Abraham I really am. A lot of people know the John Abraham I was when I played, but they never got to meet the real me. My kids deserve to see the John Abraham that I've always been. So a lot of people deserve to see who I am. Like they never got to see that. They got to see somebody getting in trouble. They got to see this because that's all the media feed on. Like for instance, you saying about trouble. He used to go out there and run routes with y'all. People don't talk about that. I bought my high school track field. We never had a home track field before I bought the track field. It's like things that they don't circle that you've done. And I've done other stuff for people that I don't really like to talk about because it's not called charity if you tell everybody. Like I just don't understand charity being like I have to get an award for this because I gave them more. Like that that's some kind of self-consuming thing to me that you need to get an award for giving charity, because I'm like, stuff that we do, I get it if people recognize that you've done a lot, but if you're doing it because of that, it kind of takes away from it. But I do. That's why I really never had a foundation. I was like, don't they get paid to do that or something? Like, I don't know, something about the money stuff just don't sound right for me doing charity. This don't feel charitable. But I get it. I get it now because I'm older. It makes sense. You can do a little bit. It's still kind of like a job, but you know, it is what it is. But I will do almost.
You can always tell a character of a man that helps somebody that he doesn't have to.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's important. That's important. That goes a long way. That just, you know, that's huge. Just advice, pointing somebody in the right direction. Like you said, it could be one word that can sway somebody's whole attitude and demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you. I do.
Appreciate you too.
And the other thing I wanted to ask, and this is for the fans, how do you see this defense shaping up this year? When we talk about the pass rush coming in, you see that they already got Trice, Zach Harrison, and all these bookends. You got Leonard Floyd, and then you talk about D-line or whatnot. We're going to talk about the D-line because I tell people all the time, defense can't function without them boys in the front. We can't. I'm a former safety, so I have a different view of what y'all bring to the table, because without y'all, I wouldn't have been able to make plays, or JB3 wouldn't have been able to make plays, or a lot of people don't think about that. I respect the linebackers, but the guys that's up front that's got to take the shots that walk, I call it walking point, like we do in the military. They're the first ones that's hitting on every play. Every play. How do you think that this team could be coming into this year? And do you think it's going to be fit? Do you think this team is going to be a little bit more physical than what we saw last year? That's all you. I'm
saying the difference between Lake and Jeff Ulbrich. I came in. I was drafted the same year he was drafted, and that's the funny thing about it. And I ran into him in New York, and we got to talk. He talked about the stuff he went through and how he's coaching now. And this little incident in the draft might take away from him as a person for a little while. But when the people in Atlanta see how he's gonna have this defense like modified and attack defense, how he's gonna put these young guys in position that y'all are gonna be like, just watch the Jets the last 3 or 4 years. Just look at their tape and see how the Jets defense played. That was his defense. If y'all think about it, Sauce Gardner, Terrell's gonna be one of those guys. Terrell deserves so much more credit than he gets. So AJ, he deserves a lot more credit. He's just a quiet guy. You know what I mean? It's like you was talking about how so and so don't get this. It's the same thing, but Jeff is going to be the guy that's going to make that thing happen. Raheem, he did a good job of getting rid of Lake. I know it's his boy, but he was just like, if you watch those games like I did, being a defensive player and watching how they was getting.
We said it.
The only person he was getting from Bliss and Caden Ellis, I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. So now that you have, and look, they gave him weapons. They gave him guys that he liked. If you looked at the Jets always used to have, like, when he was there, they always had like 4 or 5 people that could pass rush, not just one guy. The guys had to be big to get in the game because they wanted to get around that corner. That is what he put together, man.
And
for me, I don't have
Lake. You said this about Jimmy Lake, and I called this out, and I got called. Oh, you hating? I said no. The first thing I said when he got hired, same thing I said about Steve Sarkisian when Dan Quinn was here. That was a nepotism hire. No, you ain't got to say it. I'll say it. I understand it. You looking out for your boy, but sometimes looking out for your partners can be costly, and it can cost you your job, especially in the NFL, not for long. And now that you bring a guy in here that understands what he's doing, you had Matt Judon in coverage, pass coverage. That's an edge rusher right there. What the hell are you doing? That's where I'm at. And, I got called everything but a child of God when I was pointing out all this stuff last season. And I tell them just like I say now, I don't give a flying damn. Can't say the F word on here because I don't want to get canceled. But that's where I'm at with it. Let's talk truth serum with this. Jeff Ulbrich had a great defense the whole time in New York, and they had a bad offense. That was what cost the head coach his job. That offense, period. if they had an offense to go at that defense, hey man, good luck trying to stop the Jets in the AFC at that time with Ulbrich on that team.
No question, no question.
And now he's got an offense. We got to see how Zach Robinson is going to put it together to get this defense right, because now your defense has something to play for, and now your quarterback can definitely, if they keep him upright and he stays healthy, we got a chance to make a serious run with the defense that we have. Just hopefully we can get some better production out of a former Florida Gator that was a first-round pick at that tight end spot, because I'm tired of hearing about the freaking potential. I want to see it, because the best tight end on this team, and I stand on this, came from South Carolina this year by the name of Joshua Simon. You ain't got to say it. I say it. I think he'll take his job if he get the opportunity. That's just me.
Yeah, he definitely had enough opportunities to show what kind of tight end he is, and hopefully it'll be his year. Like I'm rooting for so many guys this year, because like my two teams that I'm really rooting for are really the Falcons and the Jets, because I played with Aaron Glenn and I was with Raheem Morris. Like the two head coaches, I literally was with all of us was in New York together at the same time. Like my rookie year, I had all three of us there at the same time, and I get the opportunity to see these guys in a whole different light, man. And also this kind of stuff, being 47, I'm a little younger than them, but it shows like the opportunities you can have if you just stick to stuff. Like, and people don't understand, like, you get a certain age, you feel like you can't do anymore. Nah, like, we still young. Hopefully I got 20, 30 more years left. So I got a lot of time to mess stuff up around. I'm gonna mess up some more stuff right here. I got some more time.
Do you know Mike Caldwell?
Mike Caldwell?
He's still coaching. He played in the league for the Eagles and the Bears and the Panthers. Played linebacker. I played with him in high school.
I'm just like I told you before. Like
he's still coaching.
I can see a picture, something like, oh yeah, Mike.
And one of my guys, he hosts the Georgia Bulldog Space. Shout out to my guy, DGD. He definitely does a good thing. Y'all check out the DGD podcast for dog fans out here. He definitely is doing some great things out here. He told me to ask you about a gentleman by the name of Mr. Roger Wells. He said, make sure you mention Roger Wells to John Abraham. He was like, just ask him about him. And I don't know much about him. He just wanted me to mention him to you.
You know, it's funny. It's a short story, but it's actually a real story. He was just a fan that used to always hit me up, and I was just like, hey man, come hang out in South Carolina, man. This is when I was like really down bad. Like I was down so bad. And not like had nothing to do with him. It was just like mentally I was broken, man. But this guy used to come down and just chill with me, bro. Like it wouldn't be like not even going out and drinking, he'd just go there and just talk about how I influenced his life. He was like, man, you know, my first South Carolina game, you know, I was a baseball guy, but I watched you, and ever since then, I've been a fan of you. This dude got a whole, if you go to his house, he got like stuff that I don't even have about myself. But, you know, now we're like really friends. I just came from his daughter graduation. She graduated high school, Haley.
I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's pretty good, too.
Yeah. So I was at the thing, and it wasn't because I was being like some kind of thing that's like my brother. So I came out there just to hang out, you know. So the biggest thing is you can find like idols in any kind of thing like that. The way he handled himself as a father is where I wanted to be. How he take care of his kids and how he manages his family, I want to be the same thing. So being able to have somebody like that, you know, that work hard every day and does things like I like, dude, this is what I want. And like I tell him all the time, you know, man, you know, you like my little idol. He's like, man, whatever, man. I'm like, dog, y'all don't get like. They stuff that we didn't do. Like I didn't have to do a lot of stuff that you did, man. And for me, it's even my cousin Tori, the one I talked about earlier. Like these are role models that I have, and it has nothing to do with it's just the people they are. Like for me, it's like really being around people that generally care for people and people that are doing anything for you, man. It's a small world, but Roger has definitely been like one of those guys that I always can call, man. Like anytime he'll call. Like this dude. He just does so much, man. He's been very uplifting in my life.
Well, I definitely wanted to make sure that I plug that in, and we're going to end it on that show. Do you have any upcoming ventures or anything that you want to put out to the people out here for these Falcon fans that are definitely trying to support you in your journey. Because I know I'm supporting you in your journey. Outside of football, the mental health side, I'm definitely supporting that journey because I'm living it right now, bro. Therapy, medication, I do it all. So I understand.
Yeah, I would say just follow me on Instagram, j.abraham55, or follow me on Facebook. If you can, give me a shout out. If you want me to do something that's reasonable on the podcast for you. If you want me to do it, like, just let me, and try to get me some followers, man. The more followers I got, the more people I can reach out to, the more people I can tell about, certain things, whether it's the Hall of Fame, whether it's mental health, whether it's things like that. My page isn't like super amazing. I don't do much. I just post stuff here and there. I might post inspirational stuff, or if you have something that you think that I need to help me, I'll take all that. But that's the biggest thing. And I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Somebody might call me tomorrow, so let's do this. And I'm like, all right, so I don't got no schedule right now, man. So it is what it is, man. But like I said, just follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and hey, you never know. If you hit me up 9 out of 10 times, I'm gonna hit you back. Like, that just, I'm corny as hell like that.
No, it's not corny. Because what I'm gonna do for you, this background that you see with the Predator that Smitty showed you on the phone, I'm gonna go because I got to take care of Mr. Eric Curry, who came and did a show for us a couple of weeks ago, Alabama legend. I'm gonna have my poster guy. I'm gonna have my posters printed out for you. I'm gonna send it to Smitty, and Smitty will forward you this here for your man cave, your office. But this was just a little something to say thank you for what you did in the city of Atlanta and just coming through for us, and we appreciate that. So I'll probably make some more pieces or whatnot. So I'll make sure that if I can find some South Carolina pics of you, I'll put something together for you too from your college days.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the love, bro. Real talk.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Enjoy you. Yes.
Thanks for joining us, Mr. Abraham. We'll catch you soon.
All right.
That was Mr. John Abraham, ladies and gentlemen. That was another legendary player that we had to come through here, and it was just amazing to hear not just his football side. We wanted to make sure that we advocated for the mental health side of things too, because look, we love football. We amped up for the offseason. We're definitely ready for the season to start. But there are a lot of people that's going through some things. So don't think that you're the only ones. We talk sports here, but we also talk mental health. And we also want folks to know that we do care, even if we don't know you personally. If you like these Falcons and you support this channel, Smitty's channel, and different channels or whatnot that's out here, please, please, please understand we extended family. So, Coach Brant, man, how did you enjoy the interview tonight?
Loved it. Great story. He's got a lot of layers to him. That's neat. People are
most definitely.
I like it. He's doing good stuff. So thank you for having him on there.
No problem, Coach. Definitely.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love it. Love listening to everybody tell their story.
We definitely appreciate you guys for coming through tonight. And also, before we leave, happy Father's Day. Happy early Father's Day to all the fathers out here, the real fathers that's pretty much teaching the kids how to be great citizens, great people, and also being great husbands. Maybe you might not be a good husband, a good boyfriend, but guess what? At the end of the day, be good to your kids because eventually they choose the nursing home you go to. So gotta lighten the mood a little bit. So thanks, Coach Brant, for coming on, and I'll catch you a little later. And for those who are still here, please, please, please check us out every Thursday at 8 p.m. Like we saying here, you either get right or you get left. We got bumper to bumper that comes on early in the morning on certain days. I got you covered in the traffic jams. My thoughts, just as a fan in that spot. But and what I'm in here is more so being a host. So please, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel already. We're going to have more interviews coming, and we're also going to be covering the Falcons this season. Pregame meal, the post-game show, the halftime show, the benediction and party line. We're going to have more party lines this year than benediction. So thank you guys for coming through. We love you, and I want to say y'all have a good night. And I'll catch you guys. I'm not going to do a bumper to bumper tomorrow. Maybe I might, but we'll see how that goes. I love y'all. Y'all be safe out there. And shout out to the magnificent Birdcage crew. Thank y'all for holding it down behind stage. Smitty, A1, thank you for setting up this interview. We definitely appreciate it. We love y'all, boys. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Ghost.